Hello guys, how are you today? I hope you're fine. Today we're going to talk about flowering plants. Plants are classified into flowering and non-flowering plants. A flower is a characteristic feature of a flowering plant and it's responsible for reproduction. Flowers are attractive and appear in different colors and shapes to attract insects because of its different colors. And this helps in the process of stage of pollination. Parts of the flower. We have here stigma, and then we have the style, and then we have the pollen tube where the pollen passes inside, and then we have the ovary, and then the ovule where fertilization takes place here. Then we have here, this is the male, this is the female part, we call it carpel. This is the female part. And then let's go to the male part, we call it the anther, and the filaments, we call it stamen. So this is the male reproductive organ in the flower. Then we have the petal, which is colorful, which helps in pollination to attract insects. Then we have, this is a receptacle, generation of flower organs. And then we have here, this is the stem and the sepal for the protection of flower in its bud. And receptacle is for the generation of flower organs. Let's go to the next. Structure of a flower. It consists of sepal, petal, stamen, and carpel. Stamens are the male part and carpels are the female part. Most flowers are hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means that they are both male and female parts, as we saw on the diagram. Classification of flowers. Peduncle, it is the stalk of the flower. Receptacle, it's part of the flower to which the stalk is attached to. Then we have the sepals, it protects the flower in its bud and it protects the flower before it blossoms. Parts of the flower are petals. As we said, that they are bright and colorful, okay, to attract insects and butterflies. Petals, collectively known as corolla. Stamen is the male part of the flower and it's collectively known as androecium. Stamen is divided into filament and anther. Filament is part that is long and slender, attached to the anther. Okay, anthers it is the head of the stamen and it is responsible for production of pollen. So it's responsible for the producing pollen, okay, during fertilization. So this is the structure of the male part. We have here anther. This is the anther where pollen production takes place, and filament, this is holds the anther. Both of them are called stamen. Anther and the filament, we call them stamen. If we have a cross section, we can see the pollen sacs. So this is the structure of the stamen, which is the male part of the flower. Female part is called pistil, and it's a collection of pistils is called gynoecium. This is the structure of the female part. We have the stigma, the style, the ovary. Call it pistil. Let's see here now the female part function. We have the style is a long slender stalk that holds the stigma, okay, and helps in fertilizations. Stigma is the head part of the pistil, which contains sticky substance to help pollen to get stuck, and responsible also helps in the process of fertilization. Ovary, it is the base of the pistil. The ovary holds the ovules. The ovules are the egg cells of a flower, and they are contained in the ovary, and they are here where the fertilization takes place, okay. Eventually it reaches here, the pollen reaches the stigma, then it starts to stick on the stigma, then it reaches the reaches the ovary to fuse with the ovules. This fertilized product form the fruits, and the ovules become the seeds of the fruit. This part is very important. Normally it comes in exams. Okay, the flower contains both male and female gametes. The stamen is the male reproductive part and carpel is the female reproductive part. And we said that stamen, this is a summary, okay. Contains the filaments and the anther. Carpel contains the style and stigma and ovary. So anther is the male gametes, ovary is the female gametes. Let's go to know the types of pollination that takes place. Pollination, it is the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma. We have here cross pollination is when the pollen is transferred from one plant to another plant by insect or wind, okay. This is one type of pollination. We call it cross pollination, and there is another type which is called self pollination. It happens in the same plant from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. We call it self pollination. This is the difference between cross pollination and self pollination. Cross pollination takes place between two different plants, okay. So we have here, these are the types of cross pollination: insect pollinated flower and wind pollinated flower. Let's talk now about the insect pollinated flower, the characteristics. Okay, the flower looks bright colored. It has the petals are bright and attract insects. The stigma is sticky to allow the pollen to be stuck, okay. Sticky pollen grains also can stick on the insects, so they go from plant to plant, okay. Let's go. So now we know what is insect pollinated, okay. So we know them. Let's revise quickly. The petals are bright colored to attract insect. The stigma is sticky, okay, to allow the sticking of the pollen to it. Pollen grains are also sticky to be stuck on the insect, okay, as they go from one plant to another. Wind pollinated flower adaptations, they have dull petals which they don't need to attract insects as they are pollinated by wind. Feathery stigma, the stigma is feathery like and long filaments, okay, attach the pollen from other plants to the wind by the wind. Small light pollen grains to be carried by the wind. So we took today the structure of the flower, okay, and we said the function of each part, and we said the types of pollination, okay, and their characteristics. I hope that today's video was beneficial to you, and it was of great help to you. Thanks for listening and have a good time. Thanks, bye for now.